Thanks for joining us on another exciting edition of your favorite program on television, The Eagle. My name is Aisha Gambari. Also on the program is Aisha Muhammad. Hello.
Hi, Aisha. Good evening, viewers, and thanks for joining us on this week's edition of The Eagle.
On the program today, a court of appeal sitting in Benin, Edo State, rules that former governor of Edo State, Lucky Igbenediam, has a case to answer over allegations of financial improprieties leveled against him by the EFCC. Also on our lineup today, members of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, peer review team came calling with commendation for EFCC's efforts at ridding the country of all forms of economic crimes and corruption. Also, luck runs out of a lawyer who attempts to bribe the Commission's operatives.
As part of its strategic move to sensitize Nigerian students on the need to shun economic crimes and corruption, the Commission, through its Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit, launched the Zero Tolerance for Corruption Club at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State. Also today, we bring to you the report of the arraignment of Muhammad Bello Abubakar and Abubakar Abdullahi Ahmad, Permanent Secretary and Deputy Director, respectively, of Sokoto State Ministry of Education before Justice Rulwana Aikawa of the Federal High Court in Sokoto.
And on our special focus segment today, the Eagle team interviewed Olaolu Adegbite, the EFCC Director of Operations. Stay tuned. These and other reports will come after this timeout. Don't go away. Cheers!
What is it? Please, keep to yourself. Chief Urabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes,
yes,
I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Jova Magadam.
Chief, is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past deeds?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you.
Hey!
Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe on water. I embezzled the money at the fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fly a special land that the people of EFCC and chase people who are doing to support other people with money. EFCC, as soon as they capture them, straight to prison.
Chief,
Jail. Are you? Life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people are didn't die of hunger and neglect, be careful. EFCC, I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime. The Court of Appeal, Benin, Edo State, upheld the appeal of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission as it ruled that a former governor of the state, Lucky Igbenediam, has a case to answer over allegations of financial improprieties. In a unanimous decision, the panel of 3 justices led by Justice Helen Ogumiju ruled that the former governor should return to the Federal High Court to face trial for money laundering, misappropriation of funds, and abuse of office. The other justices are Justice M. Saulawa and Justice A.O. Lakolusodipe. The EFCC approached the Court of Appeal, sequel to the judgment of Justice Adamu Hobon, then of the Federal High Court, Benin City, who dismissed the fresh charge of money laundering filed against the former governor on the ground that Igbenediam entered into a plea bargain with the EFCC and was convicted, that the fresh charge brought against him amounts to double jeopardy. The appellate court, in upholding the appeal of the EFCC, ruled that there was no agreement between Igbenediam and the EFCC that he would not face trial on fresh allegations and revelations, and therefore ruled that Igbenediam returns to the High Court to face trial for money laundering and misappropriation of funds. The EFCC had on February 8, 2011, charged the former governor and 6 others before the Federal High Court sitting in Benin on a 66-count charge. Others charged along with the former governor are his brother, Michael Igbenidian, Patrick Boygbodin, and 4 companies, Gava Corporation Limited, Ramrig Nigeria Limited, PMI Securities Company Limited, and PML Nigeria Limited. The charge borders on money laundering, illegal transfer of public funds into private account, and abuse of office when Igbenidian was governor of Edo State between 1997 and 2007. Now away from court matters. As part of its strategic move to sensitize Nigerian students on the need to shun corruption and economic crimes, the EFCC, through its Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit on April 8, 2014, launched the Zero Tolerance for Corruption Club for the University of Ilorin, Kwara State. Speaking at the ceremony, Aisha Lare Musa, head E&R, said the club was a strategic response to the hydra-headed monster called corruption, which is threatening the progress and development of Nigeria. She said the establishment of the clubs became imperative due to the high incidence of youth involvement in advance fee fraud and internet scams. She noted that Zero Tolerance Club is a non-partisan and non-profit-making club with the aim of imparting anti-corruption spirit and skills into its members. She listed objectives of the club to include providing a platform for students' involvement and contribution to the fight against corruption, promoting the culture of patriotism, honesty, transparency, integrity and accountability among students, make Nigeria students own the fight against corruption, collaborate with the EFCC on how best to carry out enlightenment campaigns on the adverse effects of economic and financial crimes, and to complement the efforts of the EFCC in the fight against corruption. The Head Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit charged the students to be whistleblowers by reporting corrupt practices to the EFCC. In his remarks, Professor Abdul Ganiu Ambali, Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin, commended the EFCC for the initiative in establishing the club. Professor Ambali said the establishment of the club will complement the university's zero tolerance for indiscipline.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been commended for its efforts in fighting corruption in Nigeria. Members of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, peer review team gave the commendation as they rounded up a 3-day working visit to the country. The team, which was led to the Commission's headquarters by Emmanuel Akomai, national focal person for the peer review process and former secretary to the EFCC, included Howard Dem, Rainer Terhisi, Sefako Sema, Drusan Drakev, and Tenja Santucci. A member of the team, Samuel Dijego, the anti-corruption coordinator for Central and West Africa based in Dakar, Senegal, observed that the EFCC has been doing an excellent job and commended the agency's training facilities at its academy located in Karo, a suburb of Abuja, which he said is of immense benefit for training of staff of anti-corruption organizations. In a remark, Akomai stated that the essence of the peer review, which is in consonance with the agreement reached a few years ago in Doha, Qatar, was to afford signatories to the UNCAC the opportunity of self-assessment to determine progress with the implementation of various articles and areas where improvement are needed.
For this first cycle, the focus is on chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 3 deals with criminalization and law enforcement, and Chapter 4, international cooperation. Those are the chapters that are currently being reviewed. Nigeria had the privilege of being a reviewer. In 2010, it reviewed Jordan, and last year, during the implementation review group, Nigeria was balloted to be reviewed this starting from last year, actually. So the process has been on, and that is what brought the reviewers to Nigeria.
Chairman EFCC Ibrahim Lamurdi, who received the team, expressed hope that the report of the review process will enable the Commission's identify areas for improvement and have the necessary recommendations that will help deal with corruption in the country. In another development, duo of Mohamed Bello Abubakar and Abubakar Abdullahi Ahmed, Permanent Secretary and Deputy Director, respectively, of Sokoto State Ministry of Education, have been arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, before Justice Zirwan Aikawa of the Federal High Court, Sokoto. Abubakar and Ahmed were docked on a 43-count charge bordering on conspiracy, forgery and money laundering. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to all 43-count charge when it was read to them. The suspects, who are both civil servants, are alleged to be living above their means, as the extent of their assets is not supported by their legitimate sources of income. The case was adjourned to May 20th and 21st, 2014 for trial to commence. Still reports, one barrister Ayodele Owoka, a 47-year-old legal practitioner, has been arrested by the Commission. The suspect was arrested at the Commission's Lagos office at Ikoyi over allegations of bribery. He was said to have attempted bribing a team of operatives investigating a case of contract inflation, abuse of office, and misappropriation of funds at the Federal Medical Center, Owo, Ondo State. The suspect admitted that he offered the operatives 1.2 million naira, which was allegedly given to him by the medical director of the hospital, Dr. O.A. Omotosho, to bribe the team to soft pedal on their investigations. He confessed that he was given a total sum of 1.5 million naira, but he kept 300,000 naira for his personal gain and offered the operatives the balance of 1.2 million naira as bribe. The suspect will be arraigned in court as soon as investigations are concluded. I am Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for the Eagle.
Nigeria is the 6th largest producer of oil in the world. In over 50 years of oil exploration, the country has earned well over $600 billion as oil revenue. If properly managed, it should provide us with a health system that will save lives and not a decaying health system. A society where energy goes round for meaningful development and not an epileptic power supply system. A productive educational system and not a decaying educational system. A society where jobs are created for self-sustainability and not a society where our youth roam the streets unemployed. A highway of safety and security and not roads that lead us to early graves. We should have credible leaders who deliver dividends of democracy to the people and not corrupt leaders who divert our collective revenue for private use. Say no to corrupt leaders. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
No, Aisha, can you imagine that? You actually walked into the premises of the commission with the intention of bribing its officers. Isn't that funny?
It's really, really funny, Aisha. And this is to tell you that corruption has become an in thing and everybody feels it's right to corrupt anyone.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the Nigerian thing. Well, members of the public should remember that it is an offense to attempt to compromise an officer of the commission. Those who have the intention of bribing their ways to escape justice should perish the thought.
Oh yes, they should desist or risk facing the wrath of the law. Next is the special focus segment with Kamile Gabi. And today, we'll bring you a special interview with Olaolu Adegbite, EFCC Director of Operations. Kamile Gabi, over to you.
Olaolu Adegbite is one of the pioneer staff of the EFCC. He has been part of many investigations carried out by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in the last 10 years. He was head of Advanced Fee Fraud section of the Commission before he was appointed Director of Operations. The Eagle team asked him how the Commission was able to crack the notorious 419 ring that held the nation by the jugular for so many years.
I may not be able to discuss that. I would call that our trade secrets, of course. Like I told you, we have built our expertise and we are renowned all over the world for what we are doing, especially in the area of cybercrime. Currently, as I'm talking to you, our operatives are in Australia. They are in West Australia, Perth, working with the police there, West Australian police, to tackle this problem. We are a reference point in Africa on this, and we have collaborated effectively with other law enforcement agencies around the world, where we teach them what we do. Of course, we learn from them as well. cybercrime, like other economic crimes, it evolves, it mutates, it changes over time. And for the investigator, he has to keep abreast of the current trends so that he'll be able to tackle these challenges. For us, as a law enforcement organization, of course, we have to shift our priorities, our focus, depending on the current trends.
As the Director of Operations, what does it take to investigate financial crimes in Nigeria?
The financial crime we have as it stands now, it takes a whole lot to do that. You need some expertise to do that. You need technology to do that. When I say technology, I mean forensics, a whole lot of things you need. And of course, for what we do at EFCC, you need specialization and specialization to tackle every sort of financial crime we have. At EFCC, our focus is on building capacity, building specialization, and that's where we do what we are doing, quietly, under the rule of law.
There are allegations from some quarters that the EFCC is selective in its investigations. Is this true?
Yeah, it is very simple. This is a scam going on. And for avoidance of that, people should know that EFCC, we do not select people. There's this saying out there that we go after Mr. A or Mr. B for XY reason, and that is not true. The question people should ask is that these individuals EFCC go after, have they committed any crime? That to me is the issue. And if they've committed any crime, are we going to fold our hands and do nothing because of XYZ reason? That will never happen. We have taken on this task for our country, for the future of Nigeria, and we are going to do it. It's all about service. And from 2007, I will say, this scam has been going on, mostly in case of government corruption, where you see corrupt people will steal money, then they will project, they will sort of deflect from their problems to start abusing other political opponents, to start abusing the federal government. What I ask is that by abusing those at the federal level, does it give you any immunity? They do this thing, in my opinion, to deflect from what they are doing. And also with the hope that EFCC will be scared to go after them because of the perception that, yes, the man has abused government today, we are going after him because of the abuse. It is very sad, and it's a culture of melodrama which we are trying to deal with. Mind you, the people we deal with are very smart, they are very intelligent. So they have this habit of showing the red herring, and you see people biting the bait. We assure Nigerians that whatever we do it professionally, and that is why we go to the courts to present our cases. Let the courts decide one way or the other.
The fight against economic crimes needs a lot of foot soldiers. In terms of operations, does the Commission have the required personnel?
For the crimes we investigate, I don't think we can ever have that number, that desirable number. But what we can do as an institution is to remain focused, pick on those important cases that we feel we can handle. Mind you, investigation of economic and financial crimes at this level is a very, very, you need special skills to do it. So even if you recruit somebody today, before it can get to that high level, it will take years and years. And that is the truth.
Fighting corruption requires integrity. Do the investigators undergo scrutiny from time to time to check their integrity?
At EFCC, of course, we are the one who go after people for misconduct, for criminal violations. And it is expected that we should live above board. In that regard, when we came on board in 2012, we are enforcing professional standards. And that is why the chairman has created the Office of the Department of Internal Affairs, where if we see staff that we find wanting, we investigate them. At EFCC, we do not just investigate and dismiss, we prosecute. We have a few of those cases going on, where any of our staff is involved in anything that we feel it should not be involved in, we will not spare the staff. However, this challenge comes with expansion. We started EFCC in 2012, we were very small, less than 20 of us. Now you're expanding. How do you ensure the same standard? So before people even come into EFCC, we have to do months and months of vetting. Not only certificates now, we do ethical vetting, we find out where are they coming from, who are their associates, what habits do they have. These are things that can impact on our operation. We don't want to have somebody who is addicted to narcotics, for instance, or who is a gambler working in a sensitive organization as we do. So these are some of the issues. As we are trying to do our statutory duty outside, so also inside we are cleaning up, and it's a continuous exercise.
In this kind of campaign, you cannot rule out fatalities. How equipped is the EFCC's medical facilities to cope with the medical needs of operatives and suspects in custody?
At EFCC, you know, we have 6 offices spread all over the country. At each of our locations, we have doctors and nurses and well-equipped clinics to take care specifically of our needs. Mind you, earlier I mentioned the rule of law. Under the rule of law, which I think is the best way you can deal with this problem, you still have to accord some rights. These are constitutional rights to detainees. Mind you that somebody is being investigated does not mean he's guilty. Even if he's guilty, he's in the prison, he is still a Nigerian. He must have medical facilities, he must have legal representation. These are constitutional rights. And at EFCC, we make sure we adhere to this strictly. Because if something happens to a suspect on account of his infringement of his fundamental right, it's going to affect the substantive case, which we will not be able to proceed with. So that is why in all our facilities we have doctors and nurses as well as clinics to take care of our detainees.
What will you consider as your low and high points on this job?
I will say we've been on a roller coaster ride since 2003. The high points, of course, are days when we get these convictions. But funny enough, these convictions don't get reported by the media. They don't talk about that. The low points are when these innuendos are being made about the commission, when this false information is being passed out there, and our citizens buy this thing. And I can see sometimes it affects the morale of the junior officers. These are young Nigerians who have chosen to work for their country, who have chosen to serve their fatherland, and you read these wild accusations in the newspaper, something like selective justice, something like we are going after the enemies of government. These are some of the low points. Low point because we now have our adversaries, our suspects now dictating the tune. They are controlling the information out there. And I think over time, Nigerians will come to realize the truth.
As one of the pioneer staff of the EFCC, what has been the Commission's impact on you?
The Commission has, of course, impacted on all its operatives because what you do in office is not, it doesn't stop your life as EFCC operative, does not stop at the office. Your out-of-office conduct is very important to us. The people you move with, where you go, and not only does it affect you, it affects your family. EFCC works a 24-hour job. We are here day, we are here night. We are doing this quietly, and you can see we've changed our strategy. Now we talk less, and we believe that's how it should be.
What has been your major challenge so far?
I see these challenges really as opportunity. You talk in areas of maybe the resources, from adequate office space to maybe logistic needs. There is never going to be a time when an agency will have everything it requires. But we hope this will improve with time. Of course, it is subject to the availability of resources, of funding by the federal government. But we hope things will improve. And like as we are talking to you now, in Abuja, we are operating out of about 8 locations, all rented premises, most of them rented premises. We have our headquarters project going on. If this is completed, it's going to solve a lot of problems for us. All of us can be housed in a place, both the lawyers, investigators, all the investigating teams. So it's going to make things a little bit easier for us.
Glad to have you back. Next is our feedback segment. On the segment are questions, inquiries and complaints that the Commission receives through its social media platforms such as the Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Audioboo and the Google+. Chidimma Amanambu takes us through.
The first we got for the day is from Bishop Frank Ogaga from South Africa, who made a complaint through our Facebook page saying, "Please, I need the help of the EFCC to stop criminals impersonating me to extort money from friends, relations, and my followers." Well, we are happy to inform you that this complaint received attention. The suspects have been arrested and shall be arraigned in court soon in accordance with the laws. And finally, from our YouTube platform is this comment made by Oluyomi Olashode, who is appealing to the EFCC to end corruption in Nigeria. Thanks, Oluyomi, for your comment. The Commission is trying its best. The fight against corruption is for everyone. So, we enjoin you to come on board so we bring corruption to its barest minimum. You too can like us on official EFCC/Facebook.com or follow us on Twitter at official EFCC. You can also watch our programs on official EFCC/YouTube.com. The Commission can also be reached via the following hotlines: 0817 816 7599 and 0702 505 8809.
What is it?
Please, keep to yourself.
Chief Urabo, I got a telephone call.
Anytime I close my eyes,
Yes.
I see dead people chasing me in my sleep.
My Jehovah Magadam.
Is it possible for someone to become restless just because of his past?
Nevertheless, unless you kill somebody dead, then the spirit will be haunted you. Was you all contractors?
I embezzled all the money for the roads that are now death traps, killing people every day. I approved the supplies of fake drugs on pipe on water. I embezzled the money at the fear, Chief.
You are supposed to fly a special man that the people of EFCC and chase people who are doing to submit other people money. EFCC, as soon as they are captured them, straight to prison.
Chief,
Jail. Ayuba, life are not just about acquire wealth, making money. When other people are didn't die of hunger and neglect. Be careful. EFCC I watch.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Welcome back. With that, we draw the curtains on today's edition of the program. My name is Aisha Gambari saying many thanks for watching. God bless Nigeria.
The Public Interface Unit of the Public Affairs Department of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is driving a national discourse online every week. Our focus is good governance as it affects the anti-corruption crusade in Nigeria. Please join us on Google Plus by searching for Official EFCC or Official EFCC NG@gmail.com. When signed into your Google Plus account, like us or follow us. You can also join us on Official EFCC/Facebook.com or follow us on Twitter at Official EFCC. You can also watch our programs on Official EFCC/YouTube.com. Thanks for staying with us.